Commissioner for District 3. I invite everyone to view my website, electamandastewart.com, for more information. But quickly, in 3 minutes, I would like to start with my position on the draft comprehensive plan. I am against the draft plan. I do not support and will not support the tearing down of millions of trees just to build more sprawl development. I do support smart growth. I do support building new communities that people, young people, want to see in their community, and making sure we have walkable communities. I am a teacher. I work in an alternative public education school in Prince George's County. I drive 15 miles up the road, or 15 minutes up the road, because I can make more money. And so that speaks to, we're not paying our teachers enough here in the county, and we definitely could do a better job of that. Our son, Alan, goes to school right next door down the street at Wade, and yes, he does take classes in Wade. They have trailers, and he takes classes in the trailers. I would like to challenge folks to think that we could do a better job in 2014 in not having our children in the trailers. There's a security issue. When they have to go to the restroom, they have to go all the way into the building, they're losing instructional time. I'm against the thought that we need to build more homes and more homes to raise enough money to pay for our public safety, our school system, and that's what's happening. We are charging homeowners money to pay for the services that we need, and we cannot do that. We can no longer pay for the services on the back of our homeowners. I'm against the thought that we're going to build 2, 3, 4, 5,000 more homes, and we're paying more attention to the people that don't even live here in the county. We need to first pay attention to the people who live here in the county. Collaborative government, I have more information about that on my website. Collaborative government, I've done a lot of research. It's not just about pulling the voters together, the residents together, to sit them down and hear what their thoughts are. It's really about implementing those thoughts. We can no longer just accept people into the government building or the libraries on Saturday, hear their thoughts, and then push their thoughts away. We need to make sure we are really bringing the smart folks together to get great ideas and then implement those suggestions and recommendations. For example, the comp plan, I'm against the 6-member group because it does not reflect the community that we live in. We're approaching almost 50% of minorities, 40% of women, and as an African American woman, I don't see my representation on that board. So again, welcome more questions from the audience, and then again, welcome you to visit my website, electamandastewart.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. Let me just make up for my oversight on you. I had a dream last night. Amina is going to vote for you. Okay. Now let's go to our candidates for the office of Commissioner President. We have 2. One is still on the way. Let's welcome our very own Vice President, Robin.
First off, I'd like to commend those who organized this event. I think it's extremely important for our residents to get a sense of where we are as it relates to the specific issues that are at the forefront of the development of our fine county. My name is Reuben Collins. I'm completing my 2nd term as District 3 representative. I am running for County Commissioner President in 2014. I'd like to, as best I can, briefly address some of the issues that were raised. I mean, it was a mouthful, but I will attempt to do my best. Most specifically, as it relates to the comprehensive plan, I was the individual that authored and developed the working group concept. The working group concept was actually something that was shared during the course of a conversation with the Secretary of Planning, Rich Hall. The idea and the notion of coming up with some type of idea that could perhaps bring together the varying interests that were participating in the discussion about the comprehensive plan. And that was as a result of a conversation the suggestion was to look at how we could possibly modify the plan as it was, using what was specifically the tier maps. As many of you know, during the course of the last 2 years, jurisdictions throughout the state were required to draft a tier map, which is essentially like a draft zoning map to actually develop, if you will, the actual zoning within the specific jurisdictions throughout the state. When the county was going through that process, the commissioners opted to table the actual drafting of the tier map. And what happened was, during the course of the comprehensive plan, a proposal that was set forth that was never approved by the county commissioners, but was approved by the planning commission, was incorporated into the comprehensive plan. The result of that substantially limited certainly the possibility of preservation of land as that map was drafted at the time. Since January of 2013, I raised concerns about that map. And I said on a very public basis that I thought that the county could do a better job in actually drafting a map that was more consistent with some of the concerns raised by many people in our community, as well as individuals representing the state's interests. The working group is, from my perspective, a compromise. The working group is an attempt, if you will, to try to bring together the varying interests, the different viewpoints on the comprehensive plan to essentially draft a tier map that could accommodate the concerns raised by all of the individuals in the community.
Thank you, Vice President. I think we have still two candidates. You were not here when I explained the format of the program. You have only 3 minutes to say what you want to say. We just followed the public hearings in the commission and stuff. And you cover 5 areas: the draft comprehensive plan, property, overcrowding in schools, property values, taxes, and leadership transparency and accountability.
I mean,
Let's hear.
on the state level, sir?
Well, whatever.
Okay, I'm saying, because that's fine.
Whatever.
Some of that stuff doesn't really apply, but I got you.
All
I
right.
know it's important.
He's running for re-election as our delegate. Please welcome Delegate C.T. Wilson.
Coming up, I'm glad I was able to make it. Sorry I was a little late. I'm C.T. Wilson. I'm currently sitting as the delegate, one of the 3 delegates for Charles County, Maryland, District 28, and I'm running again. I'll say I'm the oldest of 17 children, grew up in foster homes throughout the Midwest, became an attorney, bounced my way through law school as a security guard in nightclubs, and I was in the Army for 8 years stint, defending our country. I say all that to say because as I found out I've never been in office before, this is my first time, my first 4 years, that I'm much more of a regular person than I thought I was. And I see that, I've learned that politics is, in my definition, where arrogance collides with ambition. And that's what we have a lot of individuals who, I don't know if they just stand for whatever is popular or they stand for nothing at all, but they want to be somewhere. And that's not my goal. I have 3 daughters, ages 6, 9, and 12. And my goal is to provide a better world for them. And I know it sounds like everybody says that, but I do it every day. People that know me know how hard I fight. I fought against my party in Annapolis for crime bills, veterans bills. I bring foster kids up there every year to testify on their own behalf because I know what it's like to not have a voice. And since I made it out of that hole and I made it out of the detention centers as a juvenile, I want these kids to understand that they're better than people are painting themselves as they paint themselves. So whether they're successful or not, they know that they have a voice in their destiny. I say that Southern Maryland's needs are a little different than people might think. And we are Democrats, yes, but not all needs are alike, and I found that out too. And it is very hard when you have 3 people representing a district to try and get the attention of the other 140 some odd delegates. But we do fight. We stand on the floor, I take the floor. I've actually killed my own party's bills trying to free rapists, trying to free murderers. I've killed my own party's bills on the floor. One of the first freshmen ever to do that. I'm very proud of the work I've done. I've supported the tier map, the Agricultural Preservation Plan in 2012, because I do realize that we have made mistakes in the past in Maryland and allowed growth to go rampant. And while we have property rights that need to be protected, remember this, if you own property, I don't care if you live here or not, you are a member of our community. And you owe everybody a due diligence on what you do with your community. I only have a third of an acre, but I don't get to make a, get a pig rendering farm on my little third, because I live near people. The smell would bother them, the noise would bother them. That's the respect that I believe that we all need to be giving people as we go along this path. As I said, people know I don't mince words. You would not know that I was a lawyer because I get caught up speaking quite frequently in the paper, and it's never really pretty, but I speak what's on my mind. So if you're going to vote for me, you're going to know why. If you're going to vote against me, you're going to know why. Because if you ask a question, I'm going to give you that answer. It may not be the one you agree with, and I'm always open to suggestions. But understand that I stand for things. When the liquor store came, I fought against it. When they tried to bring a juvenile detention center here, I fought against it because I would not want either in my own backyard. So how could I put them in yours? And you'll see me continue to do that. I try to stay within my area, but we're also citizens. I happen to be a Democrat, but I'm a citizen. So when something comes to my community, even if it's not on the state level, I do have to give an answer for ask. I say, each of you, please make sure that you have an impact on your voters. And don't please, I said this yesterday, sometimes we put our people that we want to elect on this pedestal that they're better than us. You know, the problem is, they believe it. And they forget that they're just regular people. I appreciate Ken, but at the end of the day, I'm proud to be a part-time elected official because I have a home. I have 3 daughters, I have a family, I have a job. This doesn't make me or break me. It's something I want to do because I believe I'm serving my community well. However, I'm not wedded to this, and if I have to do something unpopular, as long as I'm supporting my constituents, I'm fine with that. I look forward to everybody's support, and if not, please get out and vote against me. But tell people to come out with you so we have a good turnout in this primary, and we get a wonderful, wonderful, strong list of candidates for our different offices. Thank you.
And now running for the position of delegate is our very own, and this Kelly, the president of the Board of Commissioners.
Well, we've heard a lot about the comprehensive plan, and so I don't need to repeat a lot. I can sort of sum it up very, very simply, and this also deals with taxes. And that is, the comprehensive plan, the draft comprehensive plan, that has been sort of going around and around, will succeed in doing this. It will succeed in ensuring that your taxes will go up in ways that you can't possibly support or sustain. It will ensure that our schools will continue to be overcrowded and that our students will be put in dangerous, unsecure settings such as trailers. And it most definitely will increase your commute and destroy your quality of life. And so when you think about the things that really matter to citizens, and I know a lot of the folks that I come into contact with are spending long, long hours sitting in traffic every day. That impedes their ability to get home, to be with their families, to get their children to activities, and just to have the kind of life that in this very busy, chaotic world, you need to be able to come home and have that space, that place. Number two, we cannot, and I appreciate Ms. Holland's statements about taxes, but what people need to understand is, and going back to the state position, much of what we have to absorb at the county level are funding mechanisms that used to be held at the state level for education that now have been dropped down to the local level. And I believe that I will be able to be a good partner to the delegates in Annapolis, to CT and Delegate Jameson, in terms of understanding what that really means when those kinds of costs come down to this level. And so that sort of covers taxes and the comprehensive plan. I don't think it's any secret that I do not support this plan. I think it is foolhardy, and I'm embarrassed, terribly embarrassed, that after a year, 1 year of our citizens weighing in, that it was ignored. I'm terribly, terribly saddened to hear that after hundreds and hundreds and 2,000 communications came into the commissioner saying, we oppose this plan, that we will continue to dance around this on behalf of a small special interest group that could only bring about. So that's that piece of it. Now about transparency. very proud of the fact that I too believe that my meetings should be taped. Everything I do is transparent. I had a town hall meeting last week on Monday night to address issues that are out there. You know, I may not always be able to give you the answer you want, but one thing you can be sure of, I'll do my best to give you an answer, and it will be an honest answer. And then sort of concluding here, this is what I hope I can leave you with. I've had a tough 3 years. I don't think there's anybody that would deny that. But what I have done and what I will always do is fight for our citizens. My career in Southern Maryland started out as a community organizer, as the executive director of a homeless shelter, as a single mom, and then ultimately I was able to get myself into a position where I was a very, very successful business owner. So I've seen it all the way around. I understand everything, I understand what we need to do in terms of protecting all of our citizens. And I can tell you this much, I will always fight for you, and I hope you'll consider me for the House of Delegates. Thank you.
Candidates, may I ask everybody to give a very big round of applause. You will have observed that they spoke only for 3 minutes. But I want to assure you, once they become elected, they have all the time. All right. Now, I would like now to declare open the forum, and the first question is coming from the President of Autumn Hills Homeowners Association, Darrell.
My question is for the 3 sitting commissioners and the ones that are running. Autumn Hills is important to me as a couple of my residents here. I moved into Autumn Hills in 2006 with the promise that McDaniel Road would be finished. 2 years ago, I had a young child killed in my driveway. I have to walk outside every morning, all the time, my kids, and I have to see this memorial in my front yard. I want to know, when you guys decided to do this claim, and it was $200,000 there already, there was a motion on the floor that passed 3-2 to put an additional $1 million in it. I'm sorry, just $800,000 in there. I want to know, why was that done? And number 2, where's our road? I mean, we've been waiting, I've been waiting since 2006. It's the second resident to move in there. We have over 300 residents there. We have 1 access point. There's 2 residents that are sick. 1 has been medical. The particular road on Smallwood and McDaniel, 4 times it's been blocked. We have not had access. I want you guys to know this is not fair to us, over 300 homes. It is not fair. We are pandering to 1 developer. He continues to come before you, Elm Street Development, and you guys are approving for him to expand in this county. Can someone please tell me why?
I'll take that. This also ties into Ocelot Street, which many of you probably read about, and that's to turn Ocelot Street into a pass-through so that there's a second access point out of those communities there. You know, sometimes what we need to do, and we discover these things were done 10, 20 years ago, and then come suddenly to the forefront. Well, I agree with you, Mr. Tross. Old McDaniel Road and McDaniel Road need to be completed, whether or not the developer does it or not. The county can deal with the developer afterwards. We need to be concerned about safety. It's that simple. There are loopholes in the developer agreements. It's my understanding that the developer needed to build 2 more homes to be required to finish that second access point, Old McDaniel Road. Well, it's not in his best interest to do that, so he's holding off on building those 2 homes so that he doesn't have to do it. I had suggested a field trip for all of the commissioners to go visit Ocelot Street, to visit Autumn Hills. Some of us have gone down there. We have not been able to do it collectively as a group. It's my goal for the county to pay for that new road, and then let the county attorney's office deal with getting refunded by the developer.
I'd just like to respond because I spent considerable time with the community on this issue, and staff actually came to the community, and part of the results of those meetings were, in fact, a presentation to the Board of Commissioners to look at the possibility of the county funding that improvement or connection. From what, I mean, it's been a while since we've actually talked about this, but I think there's pretty much an agreement with the board. If that's something that we could possibly do, we'll explore that. But I think Commissioner Robinson was correct in stating that this issue, and it's not in any way to try to drop the ball in terms of responsibility, but to recognize that the agreement was in place preceding this particular Board of Commissioners. But I think, as best we could possibly respond to the issue, I think, the commissioners have. And I think the commissioners are certainly respected, and recognize, the issues that were raised by the community.
Mr. Charles, ladies and gentlemen, I'll have to respectfully disagree. I first became aware of this issue 2 or 3 years ago, and it had to do with the timing of the child who so sadly perished. And one of the issues was that that's a straight road, and Autumn Hills is blocked from Constitution Hills. And then we move over to the other side of what would be Daniel Road, and we find that we have Charles Crossing, we have Charles Park, Colonial Park there, the seniors community. Now, keep in mind, we're talking a senior community. You have Hampshire, and so you have all these communities. Smallwood Drive, anybody who came on it today, was not designed to be a thoroughfare. It was designed to be a roadway that allowed for children. This is about children walking to school, a pedestrian method for children to get to school. Now, to say that the commissioners are working on it, the commissioners haven't worked on it in good faith. We let it, it just sort of limped along and limped along and limped along until, it's like a critical mass. And that's why it's great that you're here today, folks, because it's when citizens don't give up that elected officials finally act. And what happened was, when the folks in Hampshire, now they have this road from this brand new community that just started, that was built, it was taken over through a bankruptcy. Okay, so those folks now are being impacted by yet another community that should have been required to build a road from that community, it's called Piney something or other, out to McDaniel Road. And Mr. Meeker should never have allowed to continue. We say there's a loophole, and what are we there for? Are we window dressings? That loophole should have been filled, should have been stopped. So, I would love to sugarcoat it, folks. I would love to dance around it, but this is wrong on every level. Another thing you'll find interesting is a blockade was put up between Constitution Hills and Autumn Hills. Now remember, those folks have only 2 roads out, but neither of them get them anywhere except to McDaniel Road down to Smallwood. Colonial Park, all of those people, no way out except down to Smallwood Drive. Now you have Hampshire, who will have the traffic from Charles Crossing through this new community, where down to Smallwood Drive. Now, who in the world, what transportation engineer is going to tell you that it makes sense to put that much vehicular traffic onto Little Smallwood Drive? And who would not agree that to put that kind of traffic on a road where children are walking, it's a pedestrian road, there was many, many dollars invested